Acting Chief Magistrate Daniel Tulare is a little concerned about how the media has been covering the Oscar Pistorius murder case. Yesterday, he raised these concerns. He expressed them quite sharply. He spoke of a trial by media, but also asked the authorities to investigate. One of the things that he said is that he wanted this done so that it did not have a negative impact on the South African judicial system or scandalize it. Well, let's understand what the concerns are and whether or not do they have any basis in law or even in terms of the ethics. Is there any reason for the chief magistrate or the acting chief magistrate to be concerned about how this matter has been covered? My experts then on the line. Let me start with Duncan Wild. He's an associate at Webber Wentzel, but also a media expert, media law expert, that is. Also, Philip de Wet is a senior writer and associate editor at the Mail and Guardian. He was there yesterday. David Smith is the Africa correspondent of the UK Guardian. Professor Pierre de Vos is a lecturer of constitutional law at the University of Cape Town.
The thing that we asked the NPA after the magistrate made these comments is, are there investigations underway? Will anyone be charged? With specific reference to the most recent issue being Sky News' publication of those bloody bathroom pictures, the NPA was quite cagey on the matter, giving us no indication one way or the other, saying simply that if the law had been broken, then there would, of course, been investigations. In other words, making quite general noises. But at this point, we simply don't know. He didn't speak about any specific media outlets. He didn't refer to any specific cases. In fact, he spoke perhaps more about generally society's interest in this matter and how that relates than to media coverage. So, vague noises of concern rather than a bench coming down hard on the media.
It's not exactly clear what crime he's talking about. The two sort of possibilities fall under contempt of court. There's scandalizing the court and breaching the sub judice rule. And there's two recent decisions on both of them that would make it very hard for the media to breach these rules. The sub judice rule requires real and substantial prejudice to the administration of justice. And even then, the court will still have to decide whether it would be better to allow the information out or not. So I can't really see anything that would come close to violating that principle. The scandalizing the court is more directed at criticizing judges. If you're saying a judge is corrupt and that kind of thing, or influenced by improper motives. And again, that hasn't really been the case here. So on those two sort of forms of contempt of court, the media seems to be fine.
Well, there's a difference between what is legal, of course, and what is wise to publish. Now, this whole notion of scandalizing the court or trial by media, I find a little bit silly, quite frankly, because whenever somebody is charged with a criminal offense, the ordinary people are going to make assumptions about that person's guilt or innocence. It is better that people, wait until they have more information, but most people won't. So if they read in the paper about a person like the so-called Madimole monster, or about the person charged with the rape of Anine Booysen, then people are going to have a tendency to make up their mind about whether the person is guilty or not. But that's completely irrelevant, because the Constitution only says that the judge or the presiding officer must presume that the person is innocent until proven guilty. And that is a right you have, that presiding officer, not ordinary people, but a presiding officer, will actually believe that. And our courts have said that the presiding officers, judges and magistrates are specially trained to make sure that they are not swayed by these things in the media. So it might be that it's not tasteful, but some people will be upset about it. But also they seem to have a double standard, because if you're rich and famous, they are more upset than if you're poor and black. So for those reasons, I would not really think that there is a big problem here at all.
Sure.